All right, hello everyone, welcome back to the stream. So yeah, we're continuing on with the Necromancer Alchemical Collectible Card Autobattler game idea. A mishmash of a bunch of different genres here, with a pretty interesting theme, I think, if I do say so myself. But before I get into it, I want to remind everyone that I'm full-time indie right now, so the only way I'm making my money is with your support, either by purchasing Gunforged, which is $8.99 on Steam right now, or by purchasing one of my Udemy courses. So if you want to support my work, check out Gunforged. The link for that is in the description below. And if you play it, give me a review. I'd very much appreciate that. And if you want to learn how to build a complete game in the Godot engine, I have a C# and a GDScript course available on Udemy, which you can purchase as well. So those are both great ways to support me, and you also get something out of it. So I like to make my money by not just soliciting donations. Of course, I do appreciate the super chats and everything, but I like to make my money by offering a product or some kind of service for you to purchase so you get something tangible out of it. So hopefully that is something that you'll check out. And of course, you don't have to financially support me. Liking the video, subscribing, watching my other videos, that's all great ways to support my work as well. Alrighty, so with that ad out of the way, let's get right into it, what we're going to be doing today. So what we're going to do today is we are going to work on the layout. So if any of you were here or watched the Saturday VOD, I was struggling with trying to figure out how to lay out the boards, the enemy board and the player board in the game. And I've settled on, I want to do the side-by-side with the health bars horizontal. And I think that this is going to work well. And I've already implemented a system where this supports different board sizes. So the health bars are always going to be aligned along the bottom, regardless of what the board size is, just for, you know, you don't want the health bars to be on different, like, X values, basically, or, sorry, Y values. And so you can see here that I've got the player board, which is a 3x3, and then the enemy board, which is smaller. The enemy board is smaller, so it creates a larger gap here to align with the player health bar. So I think that this is going to be fine because I don't think that there's going to be a whole lot of huge variation in the enemy and player board sizes. So if there's a little bit more space here, that kind of doesn't match visually, but I think that just the boards being centered and then having the health bars underneath is going to be just fine. The other option I could do is I could do a more Hearthstone approach where I have like an enemy portrait and then I put the health bar on the enemy portrait and put that at the top somewhere. But I don't really want to do that because that requires more art and all that good stuff. So I don't want to do that. But anyway, so this is what I started working on. As you'll notice, the player inventory is currently missing because I've reworked how this whole layout works. I'm actually using control nodes now to do the layout. So I'm aligning the boards with these board stacks is what I'm calling them, which is actually not even necessary anymore, but whatever. And so I've got the enemy board stack and the player board stack here in this HBox container. And then I've got another HBox container, which contains these control nodes, which represent the positions of the health bars. So the reason I needed to break those things up is because, you know, the boards need to occupy one row, one rectangular row here, and then the health bars need to occupy the other, and that's to keep the health bars aligned. If I made the health bars children of these board stacks, I would just end up with the problem of them being misaligned. So that is what we're doing. And here's all my old UI that I hid. But yeah, we got to add the player inventory now, and that has to be also a control node over here somewhere. So that's what we'll be doing, and that won't take the whole stream. I'm sure I've got some other stuff to work on as well, but yeah. Anyway, let's say hello to everyone. Hello, Neozoid. Welcome back. Always good to have you here. Hello, all clear. Welcome to the stream. Is it easy to make a point-and-click game with Godot, or is GD developed better? I think a point-and-click game is going to be pretty straightforward, regardless of what engine you use. So the question of what's better just depends on which engine you're more comfortable with. Of course, I'm going to recommend Godot because I'm a Godot fanboy. I'm a Godot evangelist, whatever other terms you want to use. But I think you know, the tricky thing about point and click games is just managing all the game state, right? Because typically point and click games, you know, you have different scenes and then you can like click on something and then the scene changes and then you can go to other scenes, and then when you come back, the scene needs to be, you know, recreated the way that it was with the state that you changed. So mostly it's a question of state management and then showing all the proper visuals for all the state, and also unlocking the different parts of the game in accordance with how you've changed the game state. So that's the trickiest part. I don't think that the engine, unless there's like a ready-made point-and-click engine somewhere, I don't think there's going to be an engine that's particularly easy to build a point-and-click game in. So I think you can't really go wrong with using any of the popular options, in my opinion. Hello, Boogie. Welcome back. Always good to see you. Hello, Walter F. Welcome. Good to see you. All right, so let's get the player inventory working, because I currently have no way. So I'm kind of in the middle of reworking this, so I have no way of starting the combat and also no way of putting cards on my board. So we are going to fix that. We are going to fix that. How am I going to fix that? That's the question. So one of the tricky things is that the player inventory, yeah, so let's see. Actually, this may not be that difficult. Oh, wait. Yeah, shoot. Margin container. So I think what I'll do is let's disconnect the script here. Make this the scene root. Delete that. Change this type to board container. Okay, this board is still good. Okay, so label, VBox container, cool. So margin container, so we'll call this player inventory. We can just load that script that already exists. I don't know why it takes so long for the files to open in Cursor here. All right, so now we get our game UI. I wonder if I should just... Oh yeah, I gotta handle all the events and stuff too. I think I can probably keep this actually. I'm never using this left half container, so I'm actually going to remove that designation as a unique name. Okay, yeah, I don't need that. Cool. All right, so I've got a bunch of things working here, but basically this right half container is where any event can spawn, so it's like the right half of the screen, so I'll just keep that in place. This is the board containers. Board stack container and positioner containers. Okay, so I think all that's good. What is this margin container? That's where my begin button is. Oh goodness, I've got a lot going on here, but that's all right. So I think this is all good. So essentially what I need now is these board containers in here. I think there actually needs to be another HBox container here. Put that there, instantiate the player inventory. Instantiate the player inventory. Let's give it a... Is that really right? Oh, it is right. Okay. We'll do 16 all around. Give it some extra space. Okay. The other thing I could do is I could... How is this actually working? These have expand on. Don't know if I want to do that for the player inventory. Probably not. Probably not. I do need a reference to this player inventory though. So what I probably need to do is in my game UI, I don't really like this, but I need a reference to that player inventory in here. Node, public player inventory. Player inventory. Get private set. Okay. So my run manager, let's see. My run manager, so the game UI, so yeah, so basically the game UI is where all the boards are contained now. So what I need is anywhere that I'm referencing this player inventory, I need to change that reference. Player inventory is equal to game UI to player inventory. Okay, where else am I? Here, register opponent board, game UI. I don't really like reaching into a UI node for this player inventory, but I don't think I have much of a choice. Populate player cards, let's do that. Register player inventory board game UI dot player inventory. All right. Let's see how that looks. Okay, we got a bunch of errors already. Object reference not set to instance of object. Right, because I need to mark this as unique name. Okay, and now I'm not able to drag and drop. So before I try to go into the code and figure out what's going on, I think that might be related to the mouse filtering. So this is the thing about Godot and mouse stuff, is you basically just have to keep in mind that by default, a lot of the control nodes are gonna intercept mouse events. So I want to set mouse filter to ignore on basically all of these. So that's good. These positioners, we're going to change the mouse filter to ignore. Board containers, mouse filter ignore. Player inventory, that should already be set to ignore. These should all be ignore here, I think. So let's see. Ignore, 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 and ignore. Okay. So that's good. Ignore here. I think these are already set to that. Yeah. So we just don't want the mouse events to be intercepted except by things like buttons. And this should be ignored. Okay, let's see if I can drag and drop cards now. Still not working. Why is that not working? Probably because can drop cards is not enabled. Let's see. Create player board is combat board. Yeah, I didn't do player board dot can drop cards equals true. Okay. Perfect. All right, we are back in business. And if I click begin, it doesn't work. Why can't I click begin? Also, that's not really centered, so I'm gonna need to figure out what to do about that. It's centered inside the screen, but it's because this is taking up some space on the left-hand side. It's not centered in between these two things. So I may need to do that, unfortunately, but we will cross that bridge when we get there. Oh, this needs to be ignore. I missed one. Okay, now it should work. Now it should work. So if I go here, boom, begin, there we go. Okay, so now the effects are completely wrong. They're rendering behind the board, which is understandable. I think that's just a matter of I need to move this. Am I using this event horizontal position anymore? I'm gonna have to figure out what to do about events, but this game UI, I'm gonna put that there so the effects render on top of it. That should work, I think. There we go. So it looks like it's not... Is it centering on the board itself? Okay. So it looks like the events are still working. Is that right? So the event horizontal position, am I even using that anymore? Let's see. I don't think I need that anymore. So I'm just going to delete that. Get rid of this. Oh, it's not being used anywhere. Cool. So we'll get rid of this now. That greatly simplifies things. So that was a node that I was previously using for the positioning of various events and whatnot, but now should just work. So we'll just go through and we'll see what other issues come up. This feels pretty nice, actually. I might increase the padding on this left-hand side here just a little bit, but other than that, that feels pretty good. More minion cards. Let's just make sure that this works. Okay, this is not rendering on top for some reason. The Z index is not working. Why would the Z index not be working here? So you see how the card's rendering behind the grid? That's not right. But I can still drop it. Increase health, boom. Am I gonna die? I might win this one actually. Oof, maybe not. Oh, I'm gonna die. Oh no, I died. Okay. All right. So I lost that encounter. That's fine. So I got to figure out why that's rendering behind. So if I go to my booster card selection container, is UI hidden? I wonder why that's not working. So that's getting added to the right half container. I think, let's see. Card. C index. Begin drag. Just put this is my God mode item. Just put that in there. Okay, so I'm gonna clear this and I'm just gonna watch this output here. Okay, the Z index is being set to 1, but that's not working for some reason. Probably because this is part of a different... I wonder if I just did, if I do this. Z as relative equals false. And then put it back to equals true here just to reset it after the drag ends. So this is one of the things that I was trying to fix with the old layout I had, is by kind of just keeping everything on the same drawing layer so that I didn't have to deal with these Z index issues, but I think it's going to be fine. Let's see. Okay, that works. So if I just turn off Z index as relative, then it puts it on an absolute Z index of 1. Okay, perfect. So there's a lot of weird stuff going on with these cards. Like they keep getting reparented to different things, which makes sense from a logical perspective. So when you drop a card on a board, it becomes a child of that board. But then when I drop it onto a different board, you know, those things need to change. You know, all that good stuff. But anyway, so let's just make sure the alchemy works too. Here, boom. I've got a God mode ring now. Very nice. Also, it didn't update its damage indicator. I don't even know if I'm going to keep those damage indicators, honestly. I don't think they're that useful. I might remove those and revisit that later. So everything seems to be working now with this layout. So it's basically the same layout as before, except now I'm using control nodes to do everything. Oh, when I click grow board, it completely gets messed up. That's fun. Why does that happen? So we're gonna have to figure that one out too. So it's probably an issue in the board container here. Let me look at my remote scene tree. Let's just check out what that position is. Game UI, board containers. That's not correct. Oh, I made an issue here. Hold on. Player board, player inventory. This is still extending board container, which is wrong. This needs to extend margin container. I don't know how that was working. I guess because margin container extends container. I don't know. Anyway, that was wrong, so we're gonna fix that. Probably was not related to the issue that I'm having though. So I gotta figure out how to keep that board centered when it changes its position. Or when it changes its size, rather. Grab this, grow board. Okay, so let's take a look at this remote tree now. So board stack, container, player board stack. We got the board container here. Custom minimum size looks correct, but this board now is probably, yeah, it's got a weird position. Why is that happening? There's probably some kind of centering happening. So let me go to my board. Is there any like center? Is this being called anywhere? Board configuration editor. That's fine. Center horizontally. Yeah, I think that this is wrong. I'm gonna get rid of that. Yep, that's probably the issue here, the center horizontally. We'll get rid of that. Honestly, I should get rid of all the centering stuff. Get rid of this centering. That doesn't, yeah. Anything that calls center doesn't need to be done anymore. That was for the old layout stuff before I was using control nodes to do all the positioning. But now that I'm using control nodes to do the positioning, none of that is necessary. So this should be fine now. So when I do this, begin. I shouldn't have, now we have to wait. It's fine. We'll just, we'll watch the pretty effects, I guess. Cool, boom. Get that snake over here, grow board, boom. So now my board has grown. I'm gonna do this again and see what happens when it becomes taller. Oh, of course I didn't get that option, so we'll just increase my health. Okay, so you can see that my board has grown in both the width and the height, and now the health bars are still at the same level. So there's one thing that I want to do here, which is that in this board containers, or this, VBox container here, I'm going to turn up this separation to 48. And then the player inventory, I'm going to turn up the left margin to 32. Get it off the side of the screen a little bit more. Okay. Cool. There's a lot of space here. I think I might change that. Move this player board over a little bit more to the inventory. Right now, what's basically happening is the boards are being centered. So if you imagine a box here, all along, like just excluding the inventory. So imagine a line starting here and the box starts there. It's dividing that box in half and then centering those boards. What I probably want to do though is push this board over to the left edge of the box and push this board over to the right end of the box and then just like use the margins to bring it in. So I might do that. I think that's going to be fine. Do you really find it easier to do everything with UI nodes for a pixel art game? Well, it depends. Like, for this kind of layout, like where I need a lot of alignment and centering and padding and stuff, imagine if you weren't using UI nodes for that. You'd have to do all that with code, with like raw calculations, right? So, you know, you have a board of variable size. How do you position that? Well, you can either do all the calculations yourself, or you can use the control nodes to do the automatic layout for you, right? And then you don't really need to do anything. But, you know, like, it depends on what kind of game you're making. You know, obviously Gunforge doesn't have a whole lot of control nodes except in the UI. So, yeah. Good morning, Craig. How are you doing? Got Cursor AI recently. Is there an extension for it to use in VS Code, or do you have to use their version of it? I'm not sure. I'm just using the Cursor IDE, which is basically VS Code, but that's a good question. That is a good question. Might be Stockholm Syndrome talking. This might be the Stockholm Syndrome talking, but I badly wish I could do game UIs in CSS. Yeah, I would love to do that too. I think there's a Godot, a GD extension someone made to be able to do that, HTML and CSS in Godot for UI, but I should have starred the repository. I didn't. It popped up in a question on the Godot subreddit the other day, and I don't know why I didn't bookmark that. For the health bar, is that 2 progress bars stacked on one another? Yeah, so it's kind of, yeah, basically. Let's take a look at it. Yeah, so I have basically, I'm using a texture progress bar. So this texture progress bar here, it's kind of weird because I'm using a blank under texture that's the same dimensions as the whole thing together. And then I have the progress texture here. And so that's the red bar. But then the health bar under, it has the actual art configured for the health bar here, and it's using a different color for the progress bar. And so what happens is I update the red bar immediately when damage is taken, and then this portion, this white and green portion of the bar under it is animated with a tween. So you get like a nice chunk, and then the tween shrinks down, right? But yeah, I don't think you can achieve that without using 2 bars stacked on top of each other, which is fine. I mean, it's easy enough to do. It feels kind of hacky, but it works. So you can see how it chunks and then it animates the chunked portion down. It just adds a little bit more weight to the UI, gives it some animation here. So yeah, that's how I'm accomplishing that. Okay, what was I doing? I don't remember. Oh, right, I was going to change how these are laid out. So this board container here, board stack container, this board stack is shrink center. Let's do shrink begin on that, and we'll do shrink end on this one. But then what I have to do is this board stack container needs to be wrapped with a margin container, like so. Let's make sure to set this to ignore before I forget. Okay, so this margin container here, yeah, this is fine. So this margin container, we're just going to do margin left 32, margin right 32. That might be too much on, let's see how that looks. So I'm going to need to change, yeah, the health bars. So I probably need this to actually be more like 64 and 64. And then these things down here need to have the same. Can I move this into, shoot. Now I don't know if yeah, shoot. Now I don't know if the health bars are going to be aligned properly. I may need to think of a different way of accomplishing that. So I think this is nice, but now the health bars are wrong. It's really not making that much of a difference anyway, because I still need... Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm going to undo what I just did there. So we're going to press Control Z a bunch until it goes back to what I had. Okay, I think that's right. Okay, we'll just keep it like this for now. I'll make further tweaks as necessary, but I think this is fine. Hello, Snupbill. Thank you for the IDR 20,000 again. Very much appreciate that. Thank you. That's very, very generous. And we have the classic message, Yummers. Always good to see you, Snupbill. Welcome back. And thanks again. Very much appreciate that. There seems to be a problem with these one turn. Yeah, it's resetting. That's really weird. It's resetting. I wonder if I should figure out where that bug is coming from. I wonder if... Let me commit what I have. Add player inventory and other fixes. Okay, I wonder if... Let me take a look at this. Should end life cycle. Yeah, there is a bug here. So what's happening is that it's interrupting. If the enemy dies or the player dies, it just interrupts the combat midway through, but it's not resetting some of the states of some of the cards. So this post cooldown tick is supposed to reset all the states. But the problem here is that on combat ended. When is combat ended emitted? Okay, so this happens when the combat is actually over. So that's what I was looking for. So on combat ended, we actually want, is combat ended equal to true? But then we want to reset everything. We also want to remove any debuffs as well. Okay, so card debuff container. So I need to reset all this. Okay. So let's do this. Public void clear debuffs. So we want to do that. Cool. So this turn executor component on combat ended, we're going to just do a private void reset all card state. For each VAR card and board inventory component, get cards ordered by priority, card reset cooldown, reset all transient states, card.debuff container clear debuffs, and then we're going to reset all card state. Let's make it states. I think that will fix that issue that I'm having. So hopefully that works. So now what I should see is that this should tick, kill that guy, and then it should tick once again instead of resetting weirdly. But it's still resetting. What the heck? Oh, am I... I think I need to clear these things too. Oh my gosh, there's so much state to clear. Okay, so rerun lifecycle list.clear, clear that as well. I wonder if that's just being held over from the previous iteration. Just a matter of clearing all that. There's a lot of state management going on here. I wish there was a cleaner way of handling it, but there we go. Okay, now it's fixed. Okay. All right. So that's good. And am I clearing status component? Clear statuses. Is this happening on combat end as well? Queue combat handled. Yes. Okay. So there's a bunch of state management happening everywhere that I don't really like. But I don't know I don't know a better way to address that right now. Anyway. Cool. Okay. We're just gonna have to embrace the suck, I think. Anyway, fix state leftover issues. Okay, I think my UI sort of rework is complete now, so we can move on to something else. But first, I need to merge that into master here. Hopefully Godot doesn't freak out here. Let's see. Git fetch prune. That will delete that branch I was just on. All right, so we're good. We're on the master branch again. Perfect. Okay, so what is next? Let's take a look at Obsidian here. So one thing that we need to do is card tiers. So we need to have card tiers. We need to be able to combine like abilities. So I was going to have, what was I going to do? I was talking about this on Saturday. I think I'm going to have, there's like card. No. Base card. So there's like all of these cards, which might have their own tiers, so that way I can add new abilities. So the problem was like with Bell, what would a new tier of tag reset cooldown be? I could make it affect an additional card, or I could just make it so that this doesn't have an actual tier upgrade, and the Bell, as it increases in tier. So basically what I think what I'll do is, for card tiers, what I can do is maybe assign the tier to the card itself and then have all of the abilities inherit that tier. And in the case of an ability not being able to inherit the tier, I can always change like what happens with the card. Like I could potentially change the cooldown of the card, or add a new ability when its tier goes up. Shoot. But then the alchemy system, like if I have a high tier ability, let's say I have a high tier card with a high tier ability and I alchemize that with a lower tier card, I don't necessarily want that ability to decrease in power. So I almost need like 2 tier levels. I need like ability tiers and card tiers. And I don't know if that's gonna be good. That's probably gonna present a lot of problems. I mean, card tiers is going to be a very big thing. It's definitely going to be something that that is going to be a big part of the game. So I think that would be one of the most impactful things to add. Could also work on some other card abilities, but Hello, Ariane. Did I miss you? Yes. Always, always. Welcome. Good to see you again. Hello, Breckheck. Good morning to you. Wish I could replace CSS with Godot build to you guys. Yeah. That's funny. Well, let's see. I don't know. I mean, what I could do is do I want to, let's see. I mean, I could add alchemy restrictions. Like I could say you can't alchemize cards that are of different tiers. I could put in some kind of restrictions. I don't know. I kind of like the idea of, for simplicity, of just assigning a tier to a card itself and then having all of the abilities scale based off of the card's tier rather than trying to manage a tier of each ability. Because that's going to present all kinds of problems with alchemy. Like if I mix a tier 3 card with a tier 1 card? Does the tier 1 card then suddenly get some tier 3 abilities? I think that would just complicate things. So what I could do is I could say, you have your card tiers, and you can only alchemize cards of like tiers. Maybe? Maybe? I don't know. I don't know. And then the question is, what happens if I have, let's say I have a skeleton that's been alchemized, and then I have another skeleton which hasn't been. Should I be able to combine those to upgrade the tier? There's a lot to consider here, but I guess might as well just get a tier system working first and then figure all that out. Okay, let's see what the Smarty Pants AI thinks about all of this. I need a system where I can add a tier level to a base card. The tier level should scale each composed ability of the card in accordance with the tier level. However, each ability may scale differently based on the tier of the card, and it may be the case that the card gains new capabilities, new abilities at certain tier levels. Draft a framework for adding tiers to cards using the code already in place. See what it does. Okay, so we'll add tier to the base card. Yep, of course. Base composed ability to support tier scaling. Create interfaces for scalable abilities. Scalable ability. I don't think that's going to work. I don't think it's going to work. Tier abilities. Let's look at my composed abilities here. Damage execution growth. Base magnitude. Set base magnitude. When is this update for tier called? Oh, update for tier. Okay. Scale for tier. Okay, so I think what I need to do then is, I don't really like the system that it's set up here. I think I do need a tier scalable or something. An I tier scalable. Apply 0 poison. Poison applied grows by every time an allied card applies poison. I'm thinking of like all these kind of restrictions, like do I want to restrict how far an ability can I don't think so. I think what I want to do is just let players create absolutely ridiculous cards. So I'm not going to I might put a cap on the level to which cards can be upgraded. Maybe not though, because there might be a soft cap. Because if you're required, for instance, like let's say you want to upgrade a tier 3 skeleton to tier 4. If I require that you have another tier 3 skeleton, that might actually be hard to come by. So I might just make this scaling open-ended and like not have a cap on it. So you can just keep going up. So you could go to tier 100 theoretically, which in practice wouldn't really be possible because there's not enough time or opportunities to get there. But it's kind of like a soft cap, right? Like the soft cap might be you can have one run in 100 where you get like a tier 10 card that's just absolutely monstrous. But for the most part, you're going to be hovering around like having a couple of tier 3 or tier 4 cards. I think that would be fun. I think I might as well just leave it open-ended and let people create those super OP cards because I think that's going to be really fun. So I'm not going to add any restrictions to start. So I'll just have an incrementing tier that scales each ability. Now the question is, do I want to... Do I want to add an interface I tier scalable, or do I just want to make that part of the base composed ability? That's a good question. Okay, let's start with the base card here. Public int tier get private set is equal to 1. Let's do this. Is this an abstract class? Yeah. Let's do this. Private abstract void scale abilities for tier. I'm not going to pass in the tier because it's already set. For protected. Add composed abilities. Composed abilities add range. Scale. I'm going to call scale abilities for tier every time an ability is added. But I'm also going to have to create a public void. Do I want to do a set tier or increment? Let's just do increment tier. We'll call scale abilities for tier there. All right. So that's fine. So I'm going to require that method to be overridden in every card script. Well, this is going to be quite a lot of work. Good morning, Christopher. Welcome back. This is going to be quite a lot of work, but let's see how it goes. So we'll just go down the list, I suppose. Alembic. Protected override void scale abilities for tier. This poison from turn consumption. We've got the poison ability, new poison 0. Apply magnitude, dynamic poison ability. Poison applied is equal to the number of turns consumed. Do we want to add a multiplier in here? Where is my phylactery? Poison applied growth. We've got a value scaler, dynamic magnitude. Okay. Okay, I got to keep everything straight here. Hold on a second. So let's do a value scaler. Turn consumer, iAbility value provider. Okay, so we're gonna do var value scaler is equal to new value scaler turn consumer value scaler dot set multiplier 1. Okay, this is gonna become value scaler. And then we're gonna do in here is equal to, in here, we need to store the value scaler, private value scaler is equal to value scaler get multiplier x equal to 1x the number of turns consumed. Okay. All right, so we got the value scaler in here. Poison ability, where is this being used? Do I need this reference? I could just do new poison 0. So it's getting a turn consumer. That turn consumer's value is being added. Do I need to shoot? How does this work? The value scaler doesn't need to be, okay. So as long as the value scaler is in the dynamic poison ability, it'll be fine. Okay. So now poison from turn consumption. Let's do int value scalar multiplier. We're going to pass that in now. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to say private read only poison from turn consumption, poison from turn consumption. So I need to store a reference to this so I can scale it later. Poison from turn consumption. We're going to, well, we need the tier. Shoot. So I do need to have the tier in here. Wait a minute. No. No. Poison from turn consumption. Oh no, wait a minute. What? What? Hold on. Am I even using this? The alchemy. Okay, hold on a second. I see. So the problem is that I might have composed abilities that came in from the alchemy, which means that I'm not really going to know how to reconstruct them using a constructor. I see. Because it was going to be just like really easy for me to do the following. Like I was just going to be able to say, oh, well, I can just recreate the abilities with the tier scaling. But that's not going to work because I may have some abilities inside of the card here that are not like defined by default. So that means, unfortunately, that it's the composed ability. The composed ability needs to have a protected void scale for tier. Int tier. Must declare a body because it's not marked as abstract. So okay, so what's essentially going to happen is scale abilities for tier, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say for each var ability in composed abilities, ability.scale for tier. Why is this an error? Inaccessible due to its protection level. Fine. Scale for tier. So yeah, so this is basically just an update method. Maybe I might call it that. But anyway, so we're adding the poison. So I don't need this anymore. So we can just set this up. So this is just the initial setup of the list of abilities here. And then what I'll do is I'll call scale for tier on every composed ability. And this is where, since composed abilities aren't going to change. So composed abilities are built out of these ability building blocks like value scaler, turn consumer, whatever. These are not going to be individually scalable. It's going to be this entire unit as a block is going to be scalable. So I have control over it. So now what I can do is I can do that public override scale for tier, and I can set that value scalar multiplier here. And I don't want to pass in anything in the constructor because I may not have that information. So we'll just set up a default configuration, and then when scale for tier is called, then I can recreate anything that I need to recreate in here, and that should be fine. So now the composed ability owns the logic for how it scales with the tier, and all the card does is it stores the tier value, and anytime the tier changes, it invokes an update for all of the abilities that it owns, and that fixes the problem of some of the composed abilities being stuff that is dynamically added to the card during runtime, and that isn't part of the default card configuration. I think that's going to work. I think that's fine. And I'm sure this is going to bite me in the butt later on, but we are going to roll with that for now until I find an issue. What am I working on? So yeah, basically just adding tier levels to cards. I don't know. That question was probably a while ago. You may have figured that out already, but yeah, it's trying to figure out how to scale cards in accordance with their tier so that all of their abilities gain power. I have a question about mechanics. Does the board cards each attack the opponent board or individual cards from the opponent? So yeah, it's attacking a single health pool. So it's like you're basically like your board as a unit has a health pool, and the boards attack each other. So there are abilities that target individual cards, but individual cards do not have health. But I might have abilities in the future. Like I have an ability right now, which is paralysis, which stops a card from ticking its turn for a while. So like and that can be randomly selected. So it just might be a random card that gets targeted. I do want to do some abilities maybe in the future that just completely disable a card for like the duration of the combat, or like just deletes a card or something. But yeah, that's how it works. I'm 30 minutes behind this stream, but I'm doing well, thanks. Good. Well, hello to the past, I guess. Hello all. Hello Damien, welcome. Loop Hero has a big pitfall with one class that makes dying real easy. Oh, is it because like it's attacking individual cards? Okay, so the axe. Scale abilities for tier. Honestly, I guess I don't need to do this, right? Like, why would I'm just gonna add a default implementation here. I don't need to update all my card scripts anymore. So basically all I need to do now is I just need to update the composed abilities now. Conditional echo, scale for tier, we're just gonna say to do nothing yet. Now I do want to handle the case where I could add an ability to the card when it scales up, but I think what I could do for that is I could make this virtual void. So if I wanted to, I could override this, add another ability, and then call that. Necromancer has a problem where a respawn skeleton is not guaranteed to attack the same target and causes problems with vampirism opponents. Interesting, okay. I didn't know there was a Necromancer in that game. Must not have played Loop Hero enough. Anyway, damage execution growth. So this is another one where I want to do a value scaler, I think. So private read-only value scaler. So the scaling is actually going to be quite intense in this game, which I think is fine. I'm just going to have to make sure to balance the game around that. Scale for tier, set multiplier tier. So now value scaler is equal to new value scaler. We're just going to do 1. Oh no. What? Oh, it's going to scale the execution count provider value scaler dot set multiplier 1. I think the multiplier is 1 by default. Yeah. So I don't need to do that. And then we'll pass the value scaler in here. Get value. Get incremental value. Oh, I want to do get incremental value times value scaler dot get multiplier. Okay. Poison applied growth. So we're going to turn this value scaler down to 1. We're going to set the multiplier here. Actually, that's basically all I need to do. Okay, that's fine. Poison from turn consumption did the same thing. So a lot of these are just scaling the multiples, but I'm sure that the scaling is going to get more complicated in some cases. Damage ability at set magnitude, damage ability dot base magnitude plus 1. So we'll just increase it by 1. Goodness gracious. Both of my cats are licking each other, and so I get like stereo licking sounds in my ears. It's very nice. Anyway, so set magnitude. So we're just going to increment the base magnitude by 1 for simple damage. That might be a little bit weak, but I think it's fine. Simple heal. We'll do the same for simple heal here, and I can change the scaling to based on, you know, whatever. But we're going to take that heal ability, set magnitude, base magnitude plus 1. Actually, that's not going to be good. This needs to be based on the tier. So actually, okay, so I'm going to need to actually do private int original magnitude. Original magnitude is equal to magnitude. This is going to need to be original magnitude. Do I want to just multiply it by the tier straight up? Maybe I'll do that. Then for heal, maybe I'll take this original magnitude and we'll do original magnitude plus tier. Oh, this needs to be tier minus 1. And that can be yeah, that's fine. Okay, so the heal is going to increase by 1 for every tier. By default, that's simple heal, whereas the damage will just increase by its base magnitude every time. And the reason is I don't think heal should grow that fast because that's going to be very powerful. So heal is going to grow slower in accordance with the tier upgrades than damage will. Simple paralysis. Duration. So here is a case where the duration can be made the duration can increase. So this is an interesting case of tier. So I can do private int original duration here. Do I have an ability to set duration? Oh, this is a magnitude. Oh, so I can set the magnitude, right? Wait a minute. Why is it storing the base? Oh, get base. Oh, set. Okay, yeah. So in here, I can do original. Oh, actually, do I need that? Yeah. Original duration, paralysis ability set, original duration plus tier -1. So this is going to scale by increasing the number of turns that paralysis lasts. Simple poison. We're going to do the same thing. We're just going to make it increase by 1 every tier. And we got to store the original magnitude there. Tag adjacent speed. So this is going to be very powerful. So this might have a different scaling. So this speed decreases the turns remaining to execute. If I increase this by 1 every, well, I guess that's a little bit of preemptive balancing. I'll just make it increase the magnitude by 1 every time. Yeah, I'll just make it increase by 1 every time. And then I'll adjust that as necessary later. Oh, this can be set to 1 here. Cool. Tag double damage. What's going on in here? Okay. So this works by targeting, deal double damage if there's an adjacent minion. So this is like where the axe is. So let's do this. Private read-only int original magnitude. Original magnitude. Damage ability set magnitude, original magnitude. I'm just gonna duplicate or just add damage here. So it's going to do 2 damage by default, doubling if there's an adjacent minion, and then if it goes up to 3, then that's going to essentially, you know, that's going to be quite a scaling there. So I think that's fine. Now the cats are fighting. Had to take a picture of that. Oh goodness. These animals are crazy. Okay, anyway. Tag reset cooldown. What is this doing? Reset the closest cooldown. So this is one where it's like, yeah, shoot. I thought it would be nice to reduce the turn cooldown, but I think the way that I have it going is like, so I thought it would be cool to have like a way of scaling the card such that its cooldown gets reduced. But the problem is that I don't really have a way of doing that. I mean, I could add it to an individual card. So I could say like, oh, well, the bell, because it resets a cooldown, I'll just reduce that target. But then it's like, what happens if the bell gets alchemized and you have like a bunch of really powerful things on it and it also has a reduced, I mean, I could support that. I mean, there's no problem with supporting that, but it's like, I wonder if that would be more, because I want to do like an enchantment system as well. I don't know, my mind's going all over the place. I want to do an enchantment system as well, where you can add like an overall card buff. And an enchantment to the card might be, it might be that it just immediately increments the tier by 1, right? Or it might be it reduces the cooldown by 1. Or it could be like, you know, it's, I don't know, I can think of other enchantments or whatever. Or maybe an enchantment that just adds a random ability, right? So just ways of modifying the cards. So that might be a better place for the reduced turn cooldown rather than making the card tier dictate the cooldown. But then the question is, what do I actually do with this? This reset closest cooldown, it's taking 1. So what I could do potentially is, as this tier gets upgraded, I could have it reset more than 1 cooldown. So what I would do is I would make eye ability magnitude here, int magnitude, base magnitude. We'll just set this to 1 and 1. So now it's got a magnitude. So now in here, what I can do is I can say take magnitude. And then in my tag reset cooldown, set magnitude to tier. So it's going to now take up to tier. Reset the cooldown of the... Reset the cooldown of... This would be easier if I just made it random. Or I could do this. Get magnitude, enemy minion. Is that even going to work? Did I do this right? Order by current... Yes, okay, so that's going to work. Cool. And again, if that's too powerful of a scaling, I can make it so that way it's like, oh, well, var adjusted tier is equal to, you know, tier mod 2. So only every 2 tiers does it actually upgrade, but we will cross that bridge when we get to it. Tag scaled shield. Apply value scaler multiplier preserve per. So I'm going to turn this down to 1. I need an original magnitude here. Original magnitude. Original magnitude plus tier minus 1. Yeah, so that's just going to scale. So anything that uses a value scaler is relatively easy to work with here. But anyway, so now that all those changes have been made, let's make sure that I haven't fundamentally broken anything yet. And then we'll try incrementing the tier of some of these cards. Okay, so this should still work just fine. Cool, so now let's do this. I'm going to go to my run manager here, and I'm going to... Azir, stop. Okay, I'm going to Skeleton Warrior, skeletonwarrior.basecard.increment tier. So I'm just going to increment the Skeleton Warrior. It should deal... What is my simple damage? It should deal 4 damage now, if I did it correctly. Deal 4 damage, look at that. And let's just make sure it actually is doing that. Boom. Okay, obviously I'm going to need to test all the rest of the abilities, but I'm pretty confident that most of them are going to work the way as intended. I can try the incense as well, so let's take that incense value. Where is it? Yeah, incense.baseCard.increment tier. This should have a number of 2 now, I think. Yeah, boom. So let's see if this works. So it's actually not going to have much of an effect. Oh, wait a minute. It broke. An item with the same key has already been added. So I need to fix that. Increment tier. Okay, before I do that, I'm just going to initial work on ability tiers. Okay, all right. So I need to fix that issue. And before I do, actually, this is a good time for a break. So I'm going to go ahead and do a quick break, go get myself a refill on my drink. And when I come back, we'll fix this issue. I've already been going for an hour and a half. So we'll see how much longer I go. May do a bit of a longer stream today, but we'll see. But I'm going to go on my quick 2-minute break. In the meantime, please check out the links in the description below. Those are all the ways that you can support me. Purchase Gunforged, purchase one of my courses, all that good stuff. It helps me greatly. So yeah, I'll be right back, and then we'll continue on with this work. All right, I'm back. So let's fix this issue with the incense here. I think I might need a different approach for this. I forgot what it's called. Incense. Oh, speed. Right. So what this is doing... This is kind of a hacky thing to do, but what this is doing is this is essentially adding the card to the rerun lifecycle list. This rerun lifecycle list is basically saying, okay, so it's going to tick the card. So this is ticking incense, basically. Incense will execute its turn, and then it will say, okay, that has now populated this rerun lifecycle list. And so what it's going to do is it's going to what is it going to do? So yeah, it's just going to rerun that card. So basically it's going to rerun when the speed is 2, it's actually going to rerun the same card twice in this while loop. So, and the reason for that is it's actually doing the cooldown tick again twice. And we also don't want to tick the debuffs multiple times, so I need to fix that. Cooldown tick. Oh, this is so bad. Debuff equals true. I need a better way of doing this, but let's just say false in there for now. So we don't want, if a card is being rerun, we only want it to basically tick the debuffs on the first time it's run, which I wonder if there's a better way to do that. Card lifecycle execution handled. Let's see. Run lifecycle tick. No, I think this is better because we want the debuff to tick when it's actually its turn, not if it's been, well, actually, let me think. No, actually, I think, shoot. Maybe this is not the way to do it. Maybe this is the way to do it. So if it hasn't been handled yet, then we're going to go ahead and tick those debuffs. And then this run lifecycle tick, that card is being added regardless if it's called from a normal loop or from this inner loop here. So I think that's fine. So actually, I'm not seeing any obvious problems in the code here because it's just going to tick the turn multiple times. Run lifecycle tick. Oh, this is not going to work. Card lifecycle execution. So I almost need to break it up. I think I need to break it up. Hold on. This issue. So I was essentially having an ordering issue where if the incense applied speed what was the issue? I think I just need to think about this problem a little bit differently. So I only ever want a card to execute once per turn unless it's got something like Echo. But Echo is a different thing. Echo is not actually hooking into the life cycle. So really the only ability that hooks into the life cycle right now is the speed ability because it's designed to reduce the cooldown remaining of a card. But the problem is in order for everything to be consistent, I actually send the card back through a life cycle loop during the lifecycle loop so that it ticks everything properly. Because I can't just change the cooldown number. That's not going to work, because if I just change the cooldown number, let's say that it finishes the cooldown, right? It's got 1 turn remaining, the speed kicks in, it reduces it by 1 turn. Well, now it needs to execute, right? And the only way to do that in a reliable way is to like just go through the lifecycle loop again when the cooldown changes. Or in other words, use the lifecycle loop to reduce the cooldown so that if it changes to a state where it should execute, it executes. The problem though is that there's an ordering issue here. So I think what I need to do is card lifecycle execution handled. What is this force doing? So I think the problem is that this card lifecycle execution handled is kind of representing 2 pieces of data almost. Kind of. It indicates when a loop is finished, but it doesn't necessarily indicate whether a card has been executed. So what I think I should do is do this. Card lifecycles handled, and then private read-only hash set card stats card ability executions handled. I think I just need to separate these 2 pieces of data so I know whether a card has been through a lifecycle loop, because a lifecycle loop can happen without executing abilities, and that just basically means that it ticks the cooldown timer, but the cooldown timer hasn't completed, and so it doesn't execute abilities, right? So I'm actually going to get rid of this force. This is not good. I'm just going to get rid of all this and rewrite this. I don't think this needs to be, this doesn't need to be here. So we're just going to do this. Okay. Base card. Now I gotta figure out where that was. Add card to rerun lifecycle list. Echo. Oh, I see. The echo is a problem too. Why was the echo turn executor component? I'm going to do something different here. So I need to test the echo and the incense, but I'm going to do that differently. So add card to rerun lifecycle list. Add. I'm going to do a rerun execution list instead, so I'll do that later. Okay. So in here, or this should be card abilities executions handled.contain. This card lifecycle handled. Well, now this is going to be the same thing. So maybe I'll just get that. Okay, I'll get this figured out. Let's see. So back to kind of where I was before I added that force flag, which I don't want. Rerun lifecycle list. So this should just be for the raw lifecycle. And what I think I'm going to do is Maybe just add a separate list. Read-only list, card stats, rerun execution list. And this can be like the implicit, or this can, yeah, be forced implicitly. So public void add card to rerun execution list, rerun execution list dot add card stats. So in here, yeah, I don't want to, yeah, I think the execution list should just handle the raw execution. So what I'm going to do is, while rerun execution list, actually, does this need to be a while loop? Yeah. Maybe not in the execution list. No, I think it should be a while loop, yeah. Order cards by priority, rerun execution list, rerun execution list dot clear, await, run lifecycle tick. So now I need to do this. Async task, run execution. Oops. Await run execution. So this becomes really simple. So the lifecycle tick is just making sure it's checking that the cooldown is finished, but I can also invoke an execution here, which doesn't actually change any of the states. It just immediately executes the ability. So there's no state happening. There's no like lifecycle state happening in here. So that means that now what I can do is in this echo, I can say add card to rerun execution list for that, and that the incense should continue to work as well. This decrement turn cooldown, I think that's fine. Turn tick, run lifecycle tick. Okay, I don't think that actually fixes the issue that I had with the incense, but I'm kind of curious. I just want to make sure that the Corvid still works. So I'm going to go to my run manager and just make sure to add Corvid, var Corvid 2. That AI is so helpful for just doing that boilerplate stuff. So we'll see. We will see. So hopefully these still work. Okay, it doesn't look like it worked. It does not look like it worked. Oh, did I not? Oh, maybe I didn't do it right. Oh, wait, run execution. Oops, that's why. Sweet. Okay, so that's working. Should probably check and make sure that it works with just one Corvid as well, and then we'll see what's up with the incense here. Cool. All right. So the incense probably isn't fixed because I don't think I really got to the heart of what was happening there. I think it's related to the... So this is going to reduce the turn cooldown by 2. Oh, wait, did that work? Oh, it looked like it worked. There's no error anymore. I must have fixed it. Let's try it with... This has a turn cooldown of 3. Why do these all have 3 turns? Can I not think of anything more creative than 3 turns? Are you serious? Incense. Adjacent minion cards by 2. All right, we're going to turn that Corvid to 4 turns. That's probably better anyway. So Corvid and then this. Reduces remaining turns of adjacent minion cards by 2. So that should go, and then there should be a huge buff. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. And then that's not going to work because they both hit their cooldown at the same time. Nice. All right, I think that's fixed now. It appears to be working. Let's just make sure by doing this and this and this. This is already a nasty setup. I like how easy it is to get some good setups going with just a very basic grid here. Why did that attack immediately? Oh, I'm not clearing that rerun lifecycle list. Oops. Or rerun execution list. Gotta clear that there. Okay. That was pretty good, actually. So that feels much better. I got rid of that force flag, which is nice. Okay. Fixed turn executor logic. So what now? So I have the code in place to be able to do tier upgrades. Obviously the player needs to be able to do the upgrade as well. So how do I want to do that? In the bazaar, you can basically upgrade at any point by just dragging a equivalent tier onto an equivalent tier. So it has to be the same item in the same tier, and you can drag them onto each other and they just upgrade. But the problem with my game is that, like I said, if I have a skeleton that has, let's say a skeleton has 3 additional abilities from an alchemy process, and I want to drag just a bare vanilla skeleton of the same tier onto it, I have to make a decision on which skeleton to take. And the problem is that I can't just go by like, oh, whichever one has more abilities, because what happens if I combine 2 alchemized equivalent tier skeletons together? It shouldn't function as an alchemy operation where it just combines all of them, because then it renders the alchemy situation useless. So I think what I need to do is I need to be able to have a way of the player to specify which card is going to receive the upgrade and which card is going to be destroyed in the process. So it almost needs, I think the upgrade needs to be an event, unfortunately. Or I mean, I could do a UI too. I could just say, oh, when you drag it over, the UI pops up and it says, here's one version of the upgrade card and here's the other version of the upgrade card. Choose which one you want, right? Maybe I should do that. Do I want to do it as an event? Oh my gosh, there's so many tricky things. Do I want to do the upgrade as an event? So the choice is between allowing players to upgrade cards just whenever, or requiring an event to do a card upgrade. And an event is just one of the things that happens after combat. So if I do just go into combat here, boom, get my booster pack. These are the events here. So I can do alchemy, I can increase my health, I can grow my board. Maybe it should be an event. Upgrade card. I think I'll do that. I think I'll do that as an event. Let's implement it as an event. Hello, Pragyan. Welcome back. I'm just trying to think. I probably just want to duplicate this. Duplicate. This is going to be the card upgrade container. But I probably want to do this in a separate folder. Create new folder. I'll just do a separate UI for each event here. Board container board. Perform alchemical transformation. So upgrade. Let's duplicate this board container. So this is going to be the upgrade container. Consume. Nope. What am I doing? Consume container. I'm gonna do a new theme. Where is it? Header small. I don't like this. Can I do manage items? Can I delete this? Okay, never mind. Header small label. Base type. That didn't work. I forgot. Was it Grandeur 8H? Yeah. 8H 16. Oops. Damn it. I didn't mean to do that. Okay. Health header label. Here we go. Font outline color, font shadow color. This is kind of painful, but we'll do it. Okay, and then I need to look at, dang it, stop. Header label, outline size 202. Okay. Outline size 2, shadow offset X, shadow offset Y 2. Actually, this might need to be different for the smaller label. Anyway, let's do this. Alchemy. Header label small, or no, header small label. Oops. There we go. This is not working. Oops, did I do my shadow wrong? Outline size, I did my colors wrong. Outline color, shadow color. Why is it not rendering properly? Oh, there we go. Okay, player inventory this. We're gonna get rid of that modulate, get rid of that font size. This needs to be where is my theme type variation? Here it is. Header, small label. There we go. I don't know why I wasn't using the font color here. That's weird. But anyway, there we go. Cool. Okay, so enough of that label nonsense. We're doing the card upgrade. So label here, the reason I wanted to do all that is because I want to do upgrade card. Card to upgrade. And then I'll duplicate this, put it here, card to destroy. Something like that. Okay, so this is my card upgrade container, so let's create a script for this. Game.ui.cardUpgrade. Okay, now we can write the script. Hello, Bryce. Welcome. Good to see you again. Hello, Hebo. Welcome to you as well. Did I make the font myself? No, I did not. I purchased it on itch.io, which is a great place for pixel fonts, by the way. If you're looking for pixel fonts and other game assets, if you go to itch.io, there's a lot of good stuff on there. I think I paid $4.50 for the font, which is a very reasonable price, I think, for a good font. So yeah, I think, and I'm only using that font for the headers, so it's a little bit too stylistic to use for all the text. So I'm using this simpler font for the text descriptions because it's easier to read. But for the headers, it's a nice little bit of extra flavor, I think. Okay, so upgrade board and consume board. All right, so now this is actually going to be really interesting, I think. Let's see if we can get this script written out. Node private board, upgrade board, node private board, consume board. How much of the art do I generally do myself? That's a good question. So everything that is not a font is my art. So I don't do fonts, and yeah, that's it. Everything else is my art. And unless you're counting like the Steam capsule art, like the high resolution, like promotional art, I hire somebody to do that. At least I did for Gunforged. It might be different for this game, we'll see, because I might just make like a really simple pixel, you know, Steam capsules. I might do that myself, but if it's not pixel art, then I'm not going to do it. And also I'm not going to spend the time doing my own font because that's just a ridiculous waste of time. But everything else is my art. So, upgrade board dot connect, signal name, card, board, no, upgrade board dot board inventory component. I think that's dot card placed, consume board dot board inventory component. So on upgrade card added, on consume card added. I think this requires at position. Oh wait, I didn't realize this. Wait a minute, have I been doing this wrong the whole time? Did I just discover something? Oh my gosh, I didn't realize that these were typed. Holy moly. Wow, I've been doing this wrong the whole time. Emit signal. Is that new? No, it can't be new, right? Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to go and update everything. Oops. Wow, I can't believe I didn't know this. That's so nice. You learn something new every day, even basic stuff, I guess. That's so nice. Wow, okay. Is there a disconnect? Card.disconnect. No, it's not. It doesn't auto source generate those. Wow. I might just retire from Godot. I didn't know I could do that. Anyway, I was working on creating a hex editor component in Godot yesterday. I was surprised how much effort it takes to make a decent, fully custom UI control, such as theme changes and keyboard focus. Yeah, it's very, very hard. Have you encountered that yourself, or do you try to stick to the built-in things? Yeah, I mean, Gunforge was a huge pain in the rear to get the UI control. Custom UI control with the focus neighbors and getting that to work with controller. It's very, very difficult, very time-consuming. It's one of the reasons why I don't particularly like doing UI work. Is it's fine to get like basic layouts in place, but if you're trying to do like keyboard accessibility and like get it to work with the controllers and stuff, and like you're doing a custom UI where there's like all kinds of focusable elements all over the place, so you got to set up the focus neighbors correctly. It's like, yeah, it's very difficult. I don't know if there's an easier way to do it either. I think that's just how it is. I think it's just naturally a very complex thing. It's kind of like, you know, if you're building a website and you're building it in mind with accessibility, and like all the paddings need to be in place, and like all the various metadata and the contrast needs to be correct, and like if you've got menus, they need to be keyboard enabled and focus states and all that stuff. It's just one of those things that's very difficult, I think. Okay. Let's do this. Private void validate. And we're going to create a button reference. Okay. Var is valid is equal to false. Let's do this. Yeah, let's just do this. If board, let's do this. Upgrade board dot board inventory component dot get cards ordered by priority that length is greater than 1 is not, let's do not equal to 1. Then we're going to say is valid equals false, return. I should probably do, no, actually, button dot disabled equals not is valid. Actually, you know what? It might be easier to do this. Is upgrade board valid is equal to this. Is equal to 1. Var is consume board valid is equal to consume board length is equal to 1. Okay. I'm going to do if not is upgrade board valid or is consume board valid, button dot disabled is equal to true, return. Okay. Then in here, var upgrade card is equal to get cards unordered by priority. Yep, consume card. So if upgrade card dot get type is not equal to consume card dot get type, this is actually wrong. These are card stats. So this needs to be base card and base card. You know what I might do is I might just create a helper method in here. Public bool is upgradable. Upgradable with card. Base card, other card. Return get type is equal to other card dot get type and tier. Oh, I'm in the wrong spot. Classic. Is upgradable. Actually, maybe it does make more sense for that to be on the card stats level, now that I think about it. If base card dot get type, other card base card dot get type, and base card dot tier is equal to other card dot base card dot tier. So it's checking to make sure they're the same type and that they're the same tier. So here I can say if not upgrade card dot is upgradable with card consume card button dot disabled equals true, return. Otherwise, button dot disabled equals false. So we're just doing some validation. Each board should have only one card on it. Those cards on each board should be of the same type and the same tier. And then what I can do is in my ready method here, button dot pressed plus equals on button pressed, private void on button pressed, upgrade card dot base card dot increment tier, consume card dot queue free. And then what we're going to do is we'll just hide the consume container here. So let's get node. Then we're going to do upgrade board dot board inventory component dot card transferred plus equals on card transferred. Private void on card transferred. What the hell are you doing? Or what the heck are you doing? On card transferred. It's to inventory, so to inventory. I don't need to do this. Basically what I'm just going to do here is just do a signal up here. Delegate void upgrade finished. Now the problem here is that I need a way to skip events, basically, which I don't currently have. But I'm just going to do emit upgrade finished. Okay, so there's my card upgrade container. Let me make sure that I've just done everything correctly. I think so. Okay. So now I need to actually spawn that in accordance with that event being chosen. So if I go to my run manager here, event, state event, enter state event, type dot upgrade card, create card upgrade container, yada yada. Okay, so I gotta do this too. Okay. On event upgrade finished. Private void on event upgrade finished. State combat preparation. This is a little bit annoying to do. On event upgrade finished. But that's fine. That's fine. Okay, let's see if it works. Set events. I actually don't remember where the events are set in here. Oh, do I have event loot table manager? Yeah. So what I'm going to do in here is I'm just going to say events 0 is equal to event type upgrade card. So there's always an upgrade card. All right. Let's see what happens. The source generated methods for the signals, are they default Godot or part of the Godot source generators? They are, I mean, yes, the answer is yes to both questions. So Godot C#, the C# maintainers wrote source generators for Godot and C#. That comes with default, that comes with the Godot engine by default. So all of those methods are generated. So the reason why you need to do partial on every class that extends a Godot object is because of those source generators need to be able to modify the class. So that's why you need that partial declaration, that partial keyword there. Was the multiplayer game just too difficult to continue? I was preying on some kind of 2D ARPG type game with a mapping system, but this game you're doing seems okay too. Yeah, it's just, I basically have until the end of the year to make and finish a commercial game. And the problem with the ARPG one is that it requires a lot of content, requires a lot of art, requires a lot of gameplay programming. I mean, just generally speaking, the networking complicates things quite a bit. And yeah, it would just, I don't know. I like that idea of having like an ARPG that you can hop in with your friends and play for a half hour or whatever. But I think I was just lacking some kind of like inspiration. It was just kind of like a generic ARPG. So this game feels much more inspired to me, both from the theme perspective, but also from like the combination of different mechanics from different kind of games in this similar genres. And also the art is easier to do because I'm just drawing card art. And I think that there's a whole bunch of design potential here to make a really fun roguelike game. So, and it's going to take less time to make, I think. So for all those reasons, that's why I'm doing this. I know it's kind of sad, but you know, maybe I'll get to that ARPG game eventually in the future. Water check. Yes, indeed. This is full of water. I don't have any, none of my glassware is clean right now. Yeah, welcome back, by the way, Blair William. All right, let's see. So let's see if I can do an upgrade card here. So I've got skeletons. Cool. Upgrade card, choose. It didn't work. Oh, I know why it didn't work. Game UI. And I got to go back and add animations to all these things. I'm just trying to get a good game loop in place here. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Use my God mode mutton. Anyway. Upgrade card. Okay, card to upgrade. So let's see if this works. Oh, I'm never calling. There's always something I do wrong. Validate. The other thing I'm realizing is that I need to do upgrade board card transferred. Okay. Are gun forward sales going as expected? Yeah, I would say it's a modest success. I still have a video that I've been meaning to edit that goes over the exact sales numbers for people, because I think that would be interesting. Yeah, I would call it a moderate success for my first serious commercial release. But it's certainly not enough to sustain me for quite a while, so that's why we're doing this one. All right, let's see. Okay, I can upgrade this now. Ooh. It looks like somebody didn't get Q freed. Oh, okay, something's going very wrong. I'm never freeing. All right, I'm just gonna write that down so I can do that later. Booster pack. I don't know why that's happening. How did I never notice that before? Yeah, why is that? How did I not notice that? Anyway, that's fine. Upgrade card, I just have to make sure not to click on one of those. Okay, so this, I can add this, I can add this. There's the upgrade. But if I take this out, damn it. I mean, dang it. Okay, looks like I'm gonna have to fix that issue, that booster pack issue. Mouse filter. On GUI input, if it is input disabled, why are these never being freed though? That's the question. Is this booster container never being freed? It's never being freed. Interesting. This is never being freed either. Am I just not freeing these things? Okay. Okay, I'm going to need to do the same in here as well, I guess. What in the world? What is the difference between create booster container? Oh, goodness. Oh, I see. Okay. I don't like how that's being done, but whatever. Okay, can I test my card? I don't know why that input should have still been disabled, but whatever. Whatever. All right, let's see. Now it's deleting that. Oh my gosh. I don't like this code at all. Okay, I'm gonna need to figure out a better way of managing how to delete these things when I'm done with them. This is not gonna work. I'm just trying to see if my card upgrade works. I don't know why. This is annoying. This is very annoying. I'll have to figure out a better way of managing that. Anyway, I just want to see if this works. Just let me check. Now they're not here. I mean, they're probably still in the remote scene tree though, because they're not being freed anywhere. Yeah, booster container, card upgrade container. So this booster container is not being freed, so I need to figure that out. In any case, it's fine. Let's just see if we can get this to work. So, boom, boom. So that upgrade is valid. If I add another card here, it doesn't work. Add one there, it doesn't work. Remove it, it works now. So this should become tier 2, which would deal 3 damage, I think. Deal 4 damage. Okay, so now I've got a tier 2 Corvid. So that's how that works. And let's just make sure that it works. Should do 4 damage. Cool. All right, so now I actually have a way of upgrading the cards through that card upgrade container. So now it's just a matter of just tightening all that up and making it work properly and doing animations and stuff. But I've got a nice way of doing that. I have to also show the tier on the card as well, which I actually don't know how I'm going to do. I want to do a visual indication of some kind of tier. I could just maybe add a star on it, but the problem is that might make the card a little bit too cluttered, so I'm not sure about that. But the important thing is that this is working now, and I have an in-game way of upgrading card tiers. And I'll add like validation messages and whatnot, like, oh, cards must be of the same type, or they have to be the same tier to upgrade. Okay, add basic card upgrading UI. Honestly though, it's relatively simple to add these new kind of events. I mean, it's not taking me long at all to add these features, which is good. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Hello, Makolko. Love the idea of Autobattler. Can I ask how do you solve the case where both player and enemy have the same exact item? Which one should trigger first so they trigger at the same time? Yeah, so I do have an order in the game. So the player's board always goes first. And the order is based on, it goes from the top left to the top, or to the bottom right. So it starts in the top left cell and goes down that column, and then it goes over to the next row, or the next column, and goes down that column. And so the cards execute in that order. So whatever's in the top left corner is going to execute first, but the players, all of the players' cards always execute before all of the enemy's cards. So there's not really anything that's happening at the same time. The player always has an advantage. So if both an enemy card and the player card trigger at the same time, or their cooldown ends at the same time, the player's card always goes first. Now, that is problematic if you're going to be doing like a multiplayer game, because you can't favor one player over another. So you have to kind of deal with that, in which case you might want to add like a draw capability where if they both damage each other to below 0 health at the same time, you might just call it a draw. But since this is a single player game, the easy solution is just to give the player the advantage, and there's no need to complicate it beyond that, right? Just give the player the advantage, and there's no reason to handle a draw or anything. At least that's the way I think about it. Okay, so that's going to be it for the stream. So we did go a little bit longer than 2 hours today, which is nice. 2.5 hours just about. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope that was entertaining. I got a lot of interesting stuff done, so that feels good, nice and productive today. But yeah, I'm gonna go get some lunch now. So that's gonna be it for the stream. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you to the VOD watchers and lurkers out there as well. And again, please check out the links in the description below. Those are all of the ways that you can support me. You can purchase Gunforged, and you can purchase one of my Udemy courses if you're so inclined. You can also just like, subscribe, watch my other videos, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. Lurkers unite, yes indeed. Yeah, you have a good one as well, everyone. And I'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. All right, bye-bye.